Hello there and welcome to yet another exciting episode right here on Titandala with Charlie on QTV. Like every other week, I get to bring you a very special guest in the studio. And this week, I have one of the lovely voices you get to enjoy every afternoon if you listen to the radio. And she's joining me for the first time on the show. Allow me to introduce to you, radio presenter Keturah. How are you?
Hi, Charlie.
I'm good.
Good.
Great to have you on the show.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Yes. First things first. Congratulations, you guys do make a lot of noise with Kaliwa in the afternoon. What's the show again? Midday Express.
The Midday Express
on Hot FM.
Yes.
Amazing. You guys just kill it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Charlie. We love having fun on that show.
Yeah.
We love laughing. We love playing all the favorite music that our listener wants, and it's a great show. We have lots of fun.
Absolutely. So you are a relatively very new voice to the radio industry, and so far doing a great job. Congratulations to you.
Thank you
How
so
did you land yourself a gig on radio?
Oh man, I started out as an intern.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know the ropes of radio. I wanted to know what goes on to putting a radio show together.
Yeah.
And I think 6 months into my internship, Flavor was doing drive time, and he was like, "What are you doing right now?" And I was like, "Nothing, just like, putting some content together." It's like, "Come here, I want to have a conversation with you." And I was like, "Okay." And then I saw us heading to the booth, and I'm like, wait, is this conversation going to be on air? And he's like, yeah. He's like, "Sit down, we're going on." I'm like, "What?" And I was sweating, my legs were shaking, and we just started having a conversation. And then everyone was like, "Wow, that's Keturah?"
Yeah.
"Really? Wow. Oh, okay. All right." And then he asked me, "What's my name?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what's my name? What's my name? What's my name?" I was like, "Well, I'm Keturah, the African Queen." And he was like, "What? Yes, great." And I was like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah.
And I actually thought it was just going to be a one-time thing.
Right.
I really didn't think that the next day I would be on radio. And I was the next day. And I was with Flavor on Drive Time for a few weeks. And then we had a lineup change, and then I did a couple months with Bad Boy T.
Yeah.
And I mean, he taught me what I know now. He taught me what a jingle is, what a shooter is, how to use jazz.
Basically, like starting from the beginning, the very beginning.
Literally the foundation. Yeah. And then a couple months later, I was told, "Hey, we're doing a lineup change. I want to keep you on Drive, but you're going to be doing it with Kali with the Black Stallion." And I was like, "No. Don't do this to me, guys. This is suicide for me. Don't." He's a legend. He's been doing this for so long." And they're like, "You'll be fine." And the first time we did a show together, it was like instant chemistry. And it was great. And we've been doing the shows ever since.
Yeah. Was it something that you ever thought like you're going to end up doing?
Not at first. I really wanted to get into TV first. I wanted to be a TV presenter. I wanted to do the whole thing. I wanted to be a CHALI, And I went to audition a couple times, but they were like, "Oh, you're too young." They're like, "You know what? Let me finish school." And then I got the internship at Hot, and I was like, "Well, you never know. Maybe after a couple of years that I've learned, and maybe I'll be thrown on radio." But it was very quick, and I was like, wow, I never expected this to happen so soon. And it did, and I loved it. And I was like, this is great, and now I can't live without it. Yeah. Did
your family take you seriously when you actually broke it to them? Like, you know what, I might actually be doing this.
Because I went to my family, I was like, "I'm going to be a doctor." And they're like, "Yes." And I was like, "Yes, I'm going to be a neurologist." They're like, "Yes." And I was like, "Oh, by the way, changed careers now. I'm a radio personality." They're like, What? What do you mean? Like, you're a DJ? I'm like, no, I'm a radio personality. They're like, "Oh, so we're a journalist." And I was like, okay, let's just leave it there. Yeah, I'm a journalist. So, but now they listen to my show and they're like, okay, this suits you.
What do you think there's the stereotype around radio personalities and all that kind of stuff?
I think because growing up, I had aunts and uncles who loved radio and also wanted to get into radio, but my grandparents would be like, "No, you can't, you don't earn money from that. That doesn't give you money, that doesn't pay your bills.
Yeah.
You're literally doing hand to mouth. You won't build anything from that." And I think that's where the stigma starts from, because, well, started from rather, because people thought you just play music and that's all you do, and you get paid little money and you won't go anywhere in life. You'll die a DJ and that's it. But I think now it's more than just playing music. It's about being a creative and presenting creativity. And I really hope that they're not parents who still feel like there's this particular career is a waste of time, because it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it allows you to be creative, and as creatives, it's very difficult to sit in a booth for 3 hours having a conversation with yourself.
Exactly.
It's not easy.
It's crazy. You look crazy. Like, what's going on?
And then I saw. I walked in one day, somebody was on air, I think it was Cupcake, and she was, and I was like, we're really
this
not
is
normal.
what we do. Like, this is
she was alone, and I was like, this is what we do for 3 hours or more, you know?
Yeah, and it's gonna be every day.
And it's every day, and it's about being a creative, and you think because you have to think, and it's beautiful because you get to express yourself, and you get to meet other people who are creatives, and you get to exchange ideas, and this is a beautiful industry.
It's a fun job.
It allows you to be yourself.
Absolutely.
It allows you to be yourself.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love it.
So the pressure, obviously, to be consistent on a daily basis for years is something that you have to deal with.
Yes. You know, there are times where you feel like not doing the show.
Yeah.
You get in there and you're like, but I'm tired.
I just
man.
don't feel like it.
I don't feel like it. But the moment the mic goes on, that's it. And that's what I love about this job, is that it doesn't matter what's going on in the background. It doesn't matter if my producer walked in and they're like, and I'm like, whoa, okay, breathe, breathe. The moment the mic goes on, that's it. It just flows. It just flows. It just flows, and that's it. And a lot of people say that the booth is their happy place, and it is, because you get to be happy. You get to do what you love, and you get to do it every single day. Is it challenging? Yes. Does it have pressure? Yes. But if you love what you do, then it's not really a job. It's a passion, and it's going to be easier to do, because if you wake up and you're like, oh, I got to go to the office, now I got to do this, you're like, okay, I'm going to do what I love. It's much easier than doing a 9 to 5 where you're like, you have to hand in this report by this time and do this and this, and then you find that at the end of the day you're drained, but you didn't really enjoy it. You had nothing that was like, oh, the highlight of my day was. Whereas with our industry, you could be like, oh, the highlight of my day was when that caller said A, B, C, D. And you're like, I'm going to laugh at that for years to come. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. To a lot of people, talking and playing your favorite music for a living sounds like really a great deal, but they don't get the fact that there's a lot of work that goes to putting a show together.
There is.
Just take me through how you go about putting a show together.
All right. So I'll start with my show, The Midday Express. Kaliwa and I, we bounce off ideas literally even in the booth for the next day or for a Friday. So every day we're generating content for the show. So it could be like 2 a.m. and Kaliwa will be awake and he'll be like, you know what we need to do for the show tomorrow? And I'll be awake too. I'm like, you're right. And then we start building content from that. So it's very easy, especially if you have a co-host who's also at your same creative wavelength, because it's easier to bounce off ideas. Absolutely. You know, you don't feel like you're the one who's always putting in all the energy, but it's the both of you, and you can literally have like a blast. There are times where we're in the booth and he's like, you know what I'm thinking? And I'm like, we should, and I'm like, we should, and he's like, I kid you not, that's exactly what I was thinking. And we go on with it. So it's preparation for our show is all the time. We do it every single time. We talk about it. We're like, we see things, we go to different places, but we're like, oh, I just came across this. It was this conversation I heard. We should bring it on radio. Oh, I found traffic lights that are not supposed to be there, that are there. We have to talk about this. Right. So for us, content is generated every day, whether it's something political, whether it's something trending on social media, whether it's a favorite food of ours. So it's something that we generate every single day.
Absolutely. Amazing. Has there been a time that you had the most embarrassing moment on air? A lot of people actually do have them.
I've had a lot. Off the top of my head, man, off the top of my head, I think I was reading the news, and the way I pronounced Bangweulu. Yes, I went.
The local names.
Oh man! And the thing was, I was on the other side, and Kali was the one control, and he started laughing, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I said it wrong." And then I just see Honey walking in the booth. I'm like, "Guys, it wasn't that bad." They're like, "No, it was horrible." Really? So that was, you know, that was one of my, and I was just like, even when I got home, my family was like, wow, what to say about your back? And I was like, it was a mistake. I just, you know, it happened.
Yeah,
so
but how do you recover from that though?
You laugh about it. That's the only way. You just laugh about it and don't take it too seriously. Anyone can make a mistake. That's what I've learned about radio. As much as, you know, we try to be perfectionists and competitive, because it is a competitive industry.
Absolutely.
When you make a mistake, don't beat yourself up about it. Be like, okay, how am I going to do it better next time? And you laugh about it. I feel, you know, the saying, laughter is medicine for the soul.
Yes.
I take that very seriously, because there's a lot that we go through in this industry as creatives. Sometimes you get very frustrated when you can't be creative.
Right.
So if you laugh about things, and that's what we love to do on our show, we just love to laugh, because I mean, laughter fixes a lot of things. So,
absolutely.
So that's one of the key things for me.
Yeah. So I'm sure you get to have a lot of fun with the listeners on air, talk to fans and whatever. Do you feel sometimes that you are judged differently as presenters? Like you guys are always supposed to be happy, even when we're having a bad day. Is that pressure on your part?
It is pressure. There was a time I met a fan and I was genuinely having a bad day, and it was over weekend, and they're like, you know, you're shorter than I thought. And I was like, oh my God.
Please don't make this worse than it already is.
I was like, hi. And then he was like, oh, are you okay? I'm a fan. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I realized, I was like, oh, it's a fan. And they're not part of why I'm having a bad day. I'm like, oh, hi, I'm sorry. You just caught me off guard. I'm sorry. You want to take a selfie? Let's take a... Like, oh, thank you. And then I realized, I was like, there's a certain expectation.
Yeah.
Because when they hear you on radio, you're supposed to be bubbly, happy. And then when they meet you, they expect the same thing. But we're human beings. So we do have bad days.
Right.
And you might catch us on a bad day, you know. But don't think that we're bad people. No, we just had a bad day. So, you know, don't take it to heart. It's not you. It's whatever else we were going through. But yeah.
We're humans first before we actually go on air.
Exactly. So if you meet me and I seem a bit offish, don't be like, Keturah really feels herself. No, I'm just having one of those days, you know. So but when I meet fans, I try to interact, get to know their names, and they're like, oh, I listened to you when you started and everything. And I love it, because there are people who've literally been with me since day one. Yeah. And so the way I've seen myself grow, they equally have seen me grow. And they're like, oh, no, you sound great. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And I don't like take it, like, I don't let it get to my head where like, I'm okay, I've arrived now. People think I've, you know, I'm like, okay, how do I continue to improve? How do I make myself better? And it's a daily thing.
Absolutely.
So you can't be comfortable. You can't just say, okay, no, I now do a really big lunchtime show. I'm just going to, you know, be chilled out. No, it's like, okay, what else? What else do I need to do? Maybe one day I want to do a late night show. What do I want to, like, you always have to improve yourself for yourself. Yeah. Because if you just stay at the same level, it's quite boring to just be at the same level. It's always good to improve yourself. Just keep
evolving all the time.
Exactly.
And you know, the pressure that comes with radio most of the time is you need to stay on your tippy toes all the time. Like, you be having a good show, then probably your boss just says, hey, the Minister of Information will be joining you in 30 minutes.
You know. That happened.
You gotta be ready.
That happened once. We were having a great time. I think it was a Thursday, and we were doing throwbacks. And the boss walked in and he's like, Minister of Health is coming on your show, and we're talking about the cholera situation. I'm like, really?
Talk about the
and
minister.
He's like, yeah, really. And literally, he was like, he'll be here in 10 minutes. And it wasn't 10 minutes. It was like 2 minutes. Because we just saw the minister walk in and we're like, oh, sir, hi, please sit down. You ready? Okay.
And you have to gather yourself together now.
And I was looking at Khalil. I'm like, you're doing it. I'll be on the other side. You handle this, because I wasn't prepared. It's like, okay. And then that's how it is. So you also have to know, like, your partner's, your co-host's strength. And where you feel like, okay, here you can improve and what. And when it came to interviewing people, I was always like, no, Kaliwa, you do this. And then there was a time, I think we had one of someone from an NGO. Yeah. And Kaliwa was like, oh, no, you can handle this. And I was like, no, I can't. And I went on, and I was like, even I was like turning on the mic, I was like, shaking.
Let's see how this one goes.
And I was like, let's see how it goes. And then as the interview was going, and I was like, okay, it's not as bad as I thought. So it's very tricky, but also very interesting when something like that happens. One day they might say, oh, you guys are interviewing the president at lunchtime, and I don't know how I'll behave, but I'll just know that, okay, we can do this. We got this. So yeah.
Absolutely. In case you're just joining us, you're watching Titandala with Charlie right here on QTV. And in the building, I got Keturah, the African queen. She does the Midday Express on Hot FM. And we're just basically having a conversation. We take a short break. Stay with us. All right, my guest this week is Midday Express presenter, co-host on Hot FM. Her name is Keturah, the African queen. And in case you're just joining us, welcome. So now let's talk about you being a pastor's daughter.
Charlie.
Yes. do you feel the pressure? Because I feel media, you get to be judged different. And you being a pastor's daughter, did you take it serious that this is exactly what you want to do?
I mean, my dad always allowed me to be what I wanted to be. So even when I did change, careers, and I told him this is actually what I want to do, he was like, okay, all right, do it. Let's see how this works for you. And even on days where I feel like I can't do it, I always call him or text him and I say, Dad, look, this is what I'm going through. And he's like, you know what? You love this job. It's what you love. So continue, just find another strategy and you can do it. And so for him, he was like, always chase your dreams. Always. Him and my mom always told me that. But being a pastor's daughter, you're looked at in a certain light. Yeah. You have to behave a certain way.
Yeah, we expect you to be perfect.
Yeah. So
you're supposed to be cussing, you're supposed to be drinking and all of that.
If a church member finds me at a certain restaurant and I've ordered a glass of wine, they're like, okay, why is she having wine? And growing up, I was like, my siblings and I were like, oh, we have to be perfect. We have to be perfect. And the moment we stopped caring, not to say we stopped caring about the church, but the moment we stopped caring what people thought of us, we're like, look, at the end of the day, we're not doing anything horrible. This is not anything to do with our father. We're not trying to embarrass him or anything. We're just growing up and we're learning things. And even now, people will be like, past church members will be like, oh, you're on radio? Why? Yeah. Do you do a gospel show? I'm like, no, I do a lunchtime show. And I play circular music, but that doesn't take away from my relationship with God. It doesn't take away from my relationship with my dad. It has no effect on his church because he pastors a church. Yeah. So I stopped caring at some point and I was like, I'm still going to be me. Yes. I will still sit in the front of the church or the back of the church, but don't expect me to be perfect because I'm a human being. And I gotta work. And I gotta work. And I will make mistakes, but you are not holier than I am. So, that's the level I reach. So when anyone like from church would be like, oh, so you have a baby and you're not married, I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, I'm not the first one, Of course. Of course. And I'm like, why is this such an issue? So and the fact that my own father, who is a pastor, didn't, throw me aside or say, look, I'm no longer your dad because now you have a kid. He was like, you know what? It's okay. Yeah. It's all right. We'll do this together. We've got you. And I was like, yeah, so why should you as a church member come at me and be like, yeah, why are you doing what you're doing? I was like, I'm going to it's you that do things behind closed doors. Yeah. And it's even worse than what I do. Absolutely. So yeah, at some point I stopped caring. Yeah. 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 So
I love how you're just an open book like that. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Great stuff. Talking about the radio industry though, where do you think we are at as an industry in terms of competition and everything around that?
I think if I look back at radio 5-10 years ago, we've grown a lot. But there needs to be a bit more unity with different stations, you know what I mean? In as much as it's a very competitive industry, it is, but I shouldn't be put under fire if I'm hanging out with somebody from a different radio station, you know what I mean? Right. So it should be, oh, okay, they're media personalities. So they're
share ideas,
sharing
network.
and that's what it should be.
Right.
We shouldn't feel like, oh no, I just have to be with Hot FM people every single day of the week. No. I have friends in other radio stations and they're creative. So we get to sit, we talk, we share ideas, and it's good. It's very important. It's very refreshing. And it's like I was saying, unity amongst the different radio stations.
Yeah, and I've noticed that like would all go to events and then there'll be like a group from the station, another group from the other station, and then they'll be like, oh, those are from,
and then there's the one person who's cool with everyone who'll be like, oh, I'll be back. I'm going to say hi to, and I'm going to say hi to.
Yeah.
And then they're like, but why? Why are you going? And it's we're creatives, so we shouldn't feel. Yes, we're in a competitive industry, but at the end of the day, we all do the same thing, and we're all creatives, and it's always good to share ideas. Not to say that the idea you give me, I'll now go and use it for my station. No, it's good to talk about things and say, you know, I was thinking of, let's say, the electricity situation and different aspects on it. Someone will bring satire to it. Someone will be very serious. Someone will be like, no, guys, it's going to get better. Let's just invest in solar. And it's always good. So I have friends from different radio stations. And at first, when I started out, I was like, I can't have friends from different radio stations because I thought maybe it would be bad for the station. But then I realized we're all creatives. Yeah. And it's not like I'm trying to poach anybody or I'm trying to steal somebody for the next station. I just made friends who are creatives and we share great ideas. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's important to have more unity amongst the radio stations. Yeah. So
coming back to that, radio is still predominantly male dominated industry and there's just a handful of female presenters. Do you feel that there's a level playing field for female presenters now?
I think yes, we need more female personalities. Right. The industry is not what it used to be. You don't have to have a deep voice. You don't have to be, you know, a Barry White of radio now. Yeah. We need more female voices on radio. And also amongst female presenters, we also need a bit more unity. I shouldn't, you know, feel bad because, let's say Michi is doing drive time. I shouldn't be like, why is she doing drive time? Yeah. As a woman, I should be like, yes, she's doing drive time, and I should feel very happy about that. So I feel the industry does allow to have more women, and more women do need to come out. And because I've met people who I feel, wow, you should be on radio. Yeah. But they don't even, they're like, nah, it's not for me. I'm like, you have a strong personality, you've got, you know, great topics, great ideas, but I mean, I don't know, maybe it's going back to the stigma of people thinking, I can't do radio. But what I love about radio is that it allows you to be what you want to be. Yeah. So from 8 to 5, you could be in the corporate world. And then after 5, you could be on radio. Yeah. We've seen someone do it. So it's very possible. So the industry needs more female personalities. Like, it is a need. Because women have so many ideas, so many things to talk about. Yeah. And that's something that, as a listener, and also someone on radio, I would love to hear. I'd be like, oh, wow, she actually said that on radio? Yeah. Wow, that's great, you know? So we need more personalities, female personalities in the industry.
Would you allow your child to be on air at some point?
At some point, if he wanted to. Yeah. If that's something he truly wanted to do, and not because I did it, or, you know, or if it's something he knows that this is what I'm going to love for the rest of my life, then yes, I would. I wouldn't want him to pick a career where he's unhappy, or he's like, no, I need to have a solid job to take care of my mom or whatever. No, I want him to choose a career that he knows he's going to love and he's going to feel fulfilled afterwards. Yeah. Yeah.
So for somebody looking at you right now and the journey you've had so far in the industry, and they feel like, oh, you know what, I would want to be behind the microphone someday. What would be your advice?
First of all, forget what anyone says. You know, if being in the media is something you love, something you've always wanted to do, is it scary in the beginning? Yes. Is it going to be hard? Yes. But when you love something and it's a genuine passion, it's much easier than doing something that you're forced to do. You know, it's like doing chores. If you don't like washing dishes, every time you're asked to wash the dishes, you're gonna hate it.
But you're still gonna get it done anyway.
You're still gonna get it done. But if you love it, you're gonna be singing, you're gonna be mopping the floor, you're gonna be, people are like, wow, she really likes, you know, or he really likes, you know, cleaning the kitchen and whatever. So it's the same with this industry. If you know you want to be behind the mic, don't take no for an answer. Yeah. Because you will get no's. You will get no's. You'll have a first audition, they'll be like, no, you're not what we're looking for. Don't lose heart. Be like, okay, I know what I have. I know I can offer more. Keep going, keep going. And until you get a yes, because eventually you do get a yes. Yeah. I've heard so many stories of people in this industry who auditioned like 12 times. And I was like, wow.
Never picked anywhere.
Never picked. And then now you find that they're on one of the biggest radio stations. And you're like, wow. So never take no for an answer. I'm not saying be arrogant, no. But when they say no, you need to improve on this and this, go, improve on that, and then come back and, you know, do it again and try again and do what you love.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And working for a station where you have a lot of radio legends that are well respected. Yeah. You talk about Zakadocious, Kaliwa, and all these other guys. You're in good hands, I should say. Yeah, yeah. I feel every day I count it as a blessing to be surrounded by so many people, because I get to sit with them and actually ask questions and be like, so when you were starting radio, how was it like? And they'll be like, well, we didn't have Jazzla. We were using, you know, CDs. And I was like, well, for real? And you get to learn and you get tapes. And tapes, and you get to see how far the radio industry has come. Right. And you get to appreciate that, because now it's a little bit easier. It's way easier than it was 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. So you're like, wow, okay, this is great. And it's also, they give you an insight on how you can improve yourself. Zakadocious is a very chilled boss. Like, he is chilled. He will tell you, oh, maybe next week try this, try that, try that, try that. He's not like, oh, all hellfire and everything. Yeah. He's like, oh, try this. Oh, I was listening to this. Maybe you could do this. And you're like, oh, thanks, boss. And it's great to have someone who's been in the radio industry for over 20 years talk to you at, you know, a calm level and give you advice on how to improve yourself. It's something that I appreciate every single day. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. 5 songs you're listening to right now? Joe Boy, Baby. Yes. 5 songs right now. Questa. Ketile. Oh, yes. The video is amazing to that song, It is. What else am I listening to? Gosh, I listen to so many. Top 5 is not enough. Gaza. Chele. Gaza, yeah. What else? Number 4. Katy Perry, Small Talk. Yes. Number 5, I'm listening to the whole Caladocious album. That album is a classic. Tell you what. I can't pick one. So the whole album will be at my number 5. Yeah. Keturah, keep shining. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you. All right, you can catch her on the Midday Express on Hot FM with the Black Stallion Kaliwa. And of course, this has been Charlie. You've been awesome. Until next week. Bye-bye for now.